everyone, welcome back to the Morgue. My name is Mal and I am your host, and today I have my awesome, amazing, beautiful, show-stopping sister with me.
Oh, stop it. Hey, y'all, it's Monika.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. Just got done cooking a big old dinner for my family.
Girl, I know it smells good in here.
Yeah, I made some fried chicken.
Yum.
And homemade mashed potatoes.
Yum.
Gravy and green beans.
Yum.
I know. A southern dinner.
Y'all gonna have to start coming over to Monica's house for dinner. She's selling plates for $5.
I wish. Everybody that I talk to always says my food is really good. So
It is.
maybe I should invest in like selling some plates or something.
It is. It's
on the
fire.
side.
It's fire. I've thought about doing that with desserts.
Yeah.
Because I can make some fire desserts.
Yeah, you could do the desserts and I can do the food.
Oh, see, we're
dinner.
We're gonna make a little restaurant, y'all. Little food truck or something. M&Ms.
Yep. Gordon Ramsay, you better watch out.
Watch out, because we're taking over.
I would love to meet him.
Oh, me too. Gordon Ramsay is awesome.
He's like, I love how he gets so angry, but then can be so sympathetic at the same time. Like, and he'll be like, "You fat pig!" Like, what?
You donut. I actually called someone. What did I call them? Someone cut me off in traffic, so I called them an idiot sandwich.
That sounds exactly what he would say.
But also, this just reminded me, meeting someone famous. So I had a dream last night that I met Freddie Prinze Jr., and I was so starstruck because if y'all don't know, he has a podcast out there called That Was Pretty Scary. Great podcast. Go listen to it.
I've never listened.
It's so good. They talk about scary movies like we do.
Oh, okay.
And I love me some Freddie Prinze Jr. I have loved him since I was little. I love his wife, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like, I want to meet them. But I was able to in my dream, and it was amazing. And I just remember saying, I love you and I love your podcast. And I Know What You Did Last Summer is my favorite movie.
Oh my goodness.
Even though it's not, but
right.
I still love that movie.
My favorite Freddie Prinze Jr. movie is Scooby-Doo.
Yes. No, I'm right there with you. I love me some Scooby-Doo. Love that. Love me some She's All That.
Yes.
Here for it. But anyways, getting started, this is Nightmares from the Morgue. A new Omen movie is coming to theaters soon. The first Omen trailer was released on January 3rd, and the film will be a prequel to the 1976 horror movie about a boy who turns out to be the Antichrist and terrorizes his family. The first Omen will tell a story of a young woman who is sent to Rome and encounters a negative energy that makes her rethink her faith, and then she uncovers a conspiracy that hopes to bring out the birth of evil. So to me, it kind of sounds like this is going to be like the story of like Damien's mother, maybe?
I don't
know. Because like I watched the trailer and I was just like, are we going to learn about Damien's mother and how, like, you know, she, like, fucked the devil or whatever?
The only Omen movie that I think of is with the little girl. And also the one with the little boy with, what's her name from?
Julia Stiles.
Yeah,
yes,
from Save the Last Dance.
Okay, so that's the one that I think of because I'll say this. I have not personally seen the 76 one, but that one with Julia Stiles in it, that one is a complete, like, remake of that one. So it's basically the same story.
That little boy beat up his mama in the car.
In the car whenever they arrived to the church. Up there whooping her ass.
Her hair was all messed up.
Her hat. Her little hat.
Yeah.
So moving along, Blumhouse and Atomic Monster have merged into one company. Jason Blum made an announcement on January 2nd stating his company Blumhouse will join forces with James Wan's Atomic Monster Company. Under the merger, the companies will continue to work under separate labels, but now they're all in one entity, and I'm excited to see what both of those production companies bring.
That's interesting.
You know, as you know, Blumhouse, it's brought us a lot of really good movies. James Wan has brought us a lot of really good movies.
Mastermind.
James Wan is actually the one who made the movie that we're watching.
And that's why I said
we're covering.
It's a coincidence.
It is. It really is. I did not like even put two and two together until I started my notes on the movie. I was like, oh shit. And so, oh, there's another horror movie that's going to be coming out. It's called Long Legs, and it's going to star my motherfucking boy Nicolas Cage.
Yes, that's my baby daddy.
And it's basically about this detective who gets a case, and it's about this serial killer, and like he uncovers all this stuff about the occult and everything. And I watched the teaser trailer. I just showed Monika the teaser trailer. It looks creepy as hell. It's giving like sinister vibes plus true crime plus just some straight creepiness, and we don't know when that's going to come out. I think it's going to come out sometime this year, but they haven't released a lot of information on it. And so the horror movie of the week is Barbarian from 2022.
Never seen it.
I literally just told Monika that she needs to watch it. It is a trip from start to finish. So it follows a young woman named Tess who has some issues with her Airbnb, and she has to end up staying with a total stranger. However, that's not even the weird part. Tess begins to discover what is lurking in the house that they are staying in, and it is not friendly, y'all. It's nasty. It's disgusting. There's a room with a bucket and a camera. That's all I'm gonna say. Check out this movie if you love some twisty turns with hella good actors, because oh my god, Bill Skarsgård is in it. My boy Justin Long is in it. I'm here for it.
Oh, I didn't know Justin Long was in it.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to watch it. You know, he's the OG.
Oh yeah.
I love him.
And that's available to stream through Hulu. Not sponsored, but you always could sponsor us, Hulu.
In the future, please.
Please, pretty please. And then moving along, the true crime story of the week.
Ooh, I can't wait.
So there's been a small update to the previous case that we covered, the case of Lisbeth Medina. Last month, the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office issued a statement stating that Medina's cause of death was due to sharp force injuries, meaning, bluntly, she was stabbed to death. And the ME's office also stated that a full autopsy report will be issued once all pending toxicology, investigation, or other reports have been received. And as we know, 4 days after the vicious slaying, 23-year-old Rafael Govia Ramiro was arrested and formally charged with capital murder, and he currently remains in custody on a $2 million bond. Oof. All I gotta say is, if they got the evidence, that motherfucker going to prison for a long time. Yeah. A long time.
Can we just talk about one little thing?
What's up?
Real quick.
What's up? Segue.
And it's including the true crime. Okay, I wasn't here last week because I was not feeling like me. And Mal, she invited me, but I just could not make it last week. But I know she talked about Gypsy Rose.
Yes, and I was so excited to talk to you about that. And then you were like, I don't really feel good. And I understand. I get it. I understand. But I wanted to talk so bad about her.
I was so crazy during the holidays. Like, I felt like I just needed a restart. And I needed just a week just to, I guess, take some time for myself. But I'm back now. But oh my goodness, Gypsy Rose. She is now an internet sensation. I swear, like, and I was listening to a podcast today, Just Trish, not sponsored, but love her. I know Mal does not like Trisha Paytas, but I love her.
Okay, scratch that. Actually, I did say in the past that I don't like Trisha Paytas, but as she has grown as a person, I have learned to like her a little bit more, and I personally would love to meet Trisha.
I love her.
I would love to go on her podcast. I would love for her to be on this podcast. Like, I would love to just have a conversation with her.
Trisha is like, I wouldn't say an idol, but like more of like a role model, like of how she like changed her life. Anyways.
And I gotta say that she's been in the game for so damn long. I can't not respect her.
Right. You can't hate on the player. You gotta hate on the game. Anyways, she was talking about Gypsy Rose and talking about like the press tour and stuff. And it's like, Gypsy, she set that shit up while she was in prison. She was like, I'm about to make this money, make this little change. And I love how her husband is standing right next to her at every single one. But also, it's kind of weird, but I just feel like he's a little controlling. But I don't know. I don't know. And
See,
it's hard for me to say that because I don't know them personally. But
right.
it's just a little weird that he's at every single one of them when her story doesn't really have anything to do with him until the very end.
Right. I mean, but maybe he's just trying to be supportive and
Right,
stuff, because
right.
it's like, you know, say Nick got out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Say the guy that actually murdered the mother,
Right.
if you don't know. Say he got out. You know, would you want him, if you were in her position, would you want him showing up because he's part of the story?
No.
Exactly. So
That
it's
is
like
true.
I think he's probably just trying to be
Maybe
a supportive
protecting,
husband, protective
yeah.
of her and stuff, because she's probably really nervous.
She-
She hasn't been out in the world in 8 years.
She's acting cray and she's taking all that little money that she's making on TikTok. She's like, what did she say about the haters? And she was like, and the D is fire.
She basically said, y'all just keep staying mad, because at the end of the day, my man is coming back to me
Yes.
and fucking the shit out of me. Like,
Yes.
that's literally what she was saying. And that the dick is good.
And that's like energy all 2024. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I love Gypsy. Like, she is, I don't know. I would love to meet her, but also it's just funny to me because like a lot of people are acting like she didn't do anything wrong when she's doing interviews, she always brings up the fact that, yeah, she planned the murder. Like, she
orchestrated it.
Yes.
She takes responsibility for what she did.
Yes.
And see,
I like that about her.
I've talked to a few people about it, and one person in particular, I'm not going to bring up who, but one person in particular is kind of pissed because they're like, you know, she's the one that orchestrated it and everything, but the guy that actually did it, he's sitting in prison for the rest of his life. And I'm like, you got to look at it from the facts, because at the end of the day, she had absolutely nothing on her record.
Right. And she was abused.
She was abused. There were absolutely no signs of violence or anything. Nick, on the other hand, did have signs of violence. He did have run-ins with the law and stuff. He already had a rap sheet and everything.
And if somebody can persuade that person, like, nobody could persuade me to kill somebody because I have no rage in my body.
No.
But for somebody that does have rage, that has, you know, a rap sheet, that has, you know, traumatic issues going on in their past life, like, I want that person to be locked up. Because it would be a menace to society.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's a safety concern.
You know, that's scary.
And like I said, he already had like previous run-ins and stuff. People knew that he was a violent person. If he was able to get out, who's saying that he's not going to do it again? And I know that that's kind of like a double standard with Gypsy, who knows that she won't do it again.
Right.
But like I said, at the end of the day, if she does do it again, then it's like, okay, then she does need to be locked up for the rest of her life. But that was a one-time thing.
It's just,
as you know.
Yeah, and then I was also thinking about this. It's kind of sad that, like, for right now, she's, like, at the top of the news. Mm-hmm. But in 2 weeks, she won't be. You know?
Yeah.
And it's, like, it's almost kind of, like, annoying and to constantly hear about her.
Yes, and I was actually going to bring that up because
it's interesting, like, but I've seen so many documentaries, and they're all the same. They say all the same things.
I watched I watched 1.5 because I fell asleep, but there was the Lifetime documentary that was happening, and I watched 1.5 episodes of that, and it really was just like all of the same thing that I've already heard because I know so much about the case.
Right.
So yeah, like everything that I've seen has been the exact same story.
Yeah, I agree. And like I watched one and I fell asleep because I just knew, it's same beginning, same middle, same end.
Right. And like I honestly, I'm at the point I'm like, if you just go watch The Act on Hulu, not sponsored, that will literally tell you the whole thing.
Now she hates the actress that played her.
But here's the thing.
But that's how she was.
And also, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, do not quote me on this, I'm pretty sure Joey King, first of all, Joey King did an amazing job.
Yeah.
She did a phenomenal job. I'm pretty sure that they were in contact with Gypsy while they were making that.
She calls her weak.
Gypsy called her weak?
Yes, in an interview. She said that she did not like her and how she acted because she said that she acted as if Gypsy was weak. herself was weak.
I mean,
But
she
she
kind
was.
of was. Like, I mean, in the nicest way possible. It's like, girl, okay, you know you can get up out that wheelchair, so just get the fuck
Right.
up out the wheelchair and be like, my mama's abusing me.
Right.
Like, the hell?
I guess she was just scared of her mom, you know, like.
And I get that. I
Because
get
her
that.
mom would like lock her
Because
in a shed,
it's like,
right?
it's kind of like being in an abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, this person will hit you and then say, I'm doing this because I love you. It's never going
Right.
to happen again. And then it's the same
And then
cycle.
she took care of her.
Yes.
And she didn't know that she wasn't sick.
But she did know.
She did know that she could walk. But she didn't know that she wasn't sick.
Exactly.
So I guess she would think, well, if my mom's not here, you know, who's going to take care of me? Yeah.
No, and I get that, but still, girl, get the fuck up out the wheelchair and be like, my mama's abusing me.
I'm
Shit.
wondering what she's going to do with her life. Has she said that? Like, what is she going to do
I
after?
haven't heard anything, because back to her being in the spotlight so much, and it's just so saturated with Gypsy Rose. Like you said, in 2 weeks, she's going to be out of the spotlight and everything. And it's like, you know, her trying to get back to normal life, being in the outside world and stuff, like, that's going to be a huge struggle for her. And I've seen a lot of people in the comments. I've been on TikTok and stuff. A lot of people have been going live and talking about it, and how, you know, there's a lot of people that hate Gypsy. There's a lot of people that do not support her. There's a lot of people that think, you know, people that are following her and stuff are just giving her more fuel to the fire, basically.
Like, she's going to just do it again.
Exactly. But not even that. It's like, it's kind of like the term, why do we keep making stupid people famous?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not calling her stupid by any means. Do not take that out of context. All I'm saying is, why are we making these people famous that have done these terrible crimes? You know,
right?
We're giving the spotlight to people. It's just like the show, what is that? Love After Lockup. I love me some Love After Lockup.
Me too.
But that show, if you're into reality TV, that's made some people really big and a lot of money and stuff. And it's like, these people have done terrible crimes. They've went out and robbed people. There were people in there for like attempted murder and stuff that have gotten out. And it's like, now they have this huge platform. They're making all this money. They're able to, you know, live this great, amazing life. But at the end of the day, there are other people out there who don't get that spotlight, that do great, amazing things. Artists and stuff, singers and stuff, like, you know, even podcasters that do really good work, but they don't get that spotlight because those people come up and they're like, let me use this terrible thing that I did in order to give myself that spotlight.
Right, so they can become famous. Right.
Exactly.
They were talking about that on the podcast as well, about how there's like these copycat people.
Yes, or like there was this guy,
like the Mendez brothers or whatever.
The Menendez brothers.
Yes.
People are saying that they deserve to be out, but here's the thing: they committed the murder, and then on top of that, they went out and they took the money and was out there partying. Like there's a reason why they're in prison. Gypsy did not.
They were
murder
abused,
them.
but they weren't. I didn't like. Gypsy was abused more. Like, I don't know their full story, but just from what I've watched, the documentaries, like, you know, they weren't held hostage in a house in a wheelchair.
No, they were able to go party and stuff. They were abused by their dad, allegedly. Of course, he's not here to tell his side of the story. And also,
obviously.
No, but also, I cannot stand it, and I'm not saying that people should not come forward with stuff like after someone has died, but I can't stand it whenever people do that, and it's like, the person isn't even here to defend themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy to me. It's mind-boggling to me, because it's like, you know, you can come out and say this stuff, but at the end of the day, that person can't say their side of the story.
Right.
You know? And I'm not saying their side of the story is going to be true, but, like, still.
Right. And I agree. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that they should be let out and everything. I don't agree. I think they're monsters.
They murdered
honestly,
their parents. Like,
you know,
damn.
Gypsy, I feel like, yeah, there's a little monster inside of her. Maybe it's tamed. Maybe just because I think the monster was created from her mother.
I agree.
From the abuse. She was also taking a lot of medication. And like, I'm sorry, but like, everybody that's around me knows, but I'm in recovery from like pills and hard drugs and stuff. And when I was taking those pills, constantly every day, I was delusional.
It puts you out of your mind, for
I
sure.
I was literally delusional. And like if somebody came up to me and was like, look, like, and I was being abused and I was on those types of medications, I probably would have committed the murder as well. Or had somebody,
have someone do it.
yes,
Exactly, because you're not in that
persuade.
you're not in that right mind, but also she wanted to get out so badly.
Exactly.
You know?
And who knows? Only she can tell us.
Yep. Yep.
Only she knows. It's not like they just had a camera in their house. And we.
Hey,
could
maybe I'll
watch a
just
video.
email her real quick. Hey, Gypsy, do you want to come on the podcast and talk real quick?
I wish.
I usually do scary movies, but like, I want to talk to you.
She's in New York right now, and she's not coming this way anytime soon.
Zoom exists.
Yeah, we could.
She can
Zoom
figure
her.
it out.
We could FaceTime her.
FaceTime her.
You want to
exactly.
FaceTime us,
Right? We can figure out a way.
right? We can. You can use a third party phone. We
Yes,
won't
girl.
call you back.
Yes, girl. I got you. I got you. Like we ain't got to be friends.
I just got
know.
questions, and I'm team. I'm not team anybody. I just want to know the answers, the real answers, not what her lawyers have told her to say in these press releases,
Right.
just so that she could draw fame from it.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want no judgment. I don't want
all I
people
gotta
jumping
say
at
is
me.
I'm pro healing, and whether that be to Gypsy
Yes.
or to Nick, both of them,
Yes.
I'm pro healing, and I want them to be the best versions of themselves, even though one of them is in prison for the rest of their life. But
Yeah.
still, I'm all for that.
I hope she's okay. I hope she does something
Good with her life. Yeah.
She was talking about how she wants to get pregnant. I totally feel that, because once you're how old is she?
She's like 32.
Yeah, she's in her early 30s. I was in my late 20s when I had my child, mid to late 20s. There comes a time in your life that you want to bring a child into your world, and, it totally changes a person. I feel like that would actually kind of change her a little bit, like, and for the
And I
better,
get that.
and not, like, change her, like, saying, oh, well, she's a psycho killer right now, and she's going to turn into a mom that's not No, not that. I just think that would kind of help her push along through life.
And I get that a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, girl, please take some time for yourself. Please take some time to heal and get your shit together. I don't want to, I personally, and this is not because I am anti-children, because I don't want to have kids. If you know me, I don't want to have kids. I have my little nephew. That's all I need. Okay. But for someone that does want to have kids, she's fresh out. A couple weeks, like, don't start trying to automatically just have a kid because you think that that's gonna make life 50 million times better, because if anything, it makes your life 15 million times hard. But you have someone that loves you unconditionally, you can take care of them, stuff like that. But girl, get your shit together.
I would
get
say
your life
probably
together.
Maybe she should wait maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
But she is also at that age.
Right.
And she's not newlywed to her husband. She's been married.
Right. And no,
for
I
a
get
while,
that. But they need to enjoy their time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because this is the first time that they've actually been able to be out in the free world.
They didn't get conjugal visits.
No.
Like, there was
No.
nothing like that.
But now she says the D is fire, so.
But I mean, also with her age and stuff, like, IVF exists. She
Right.
clearly got money.
She can get a surrogate.
Like,
you're right, her husband is loaded.
Right.
He's apparently just a teacher, but he drives a Cadillac. Like, he's gonna have to trade that Cadillac in for a minivan.
Right.
From the sounds of her. I don't know. But anyways,
moving along. Yes, we went on a long tangent.
Rant about Gypsy Rose.
But we love you, Gypsy.
Yes.
So, the movie that we are covering this week is
Insidious.
from 2010.
Mal took a poll on Twitter.
Yes, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I will put the link in the link tree that will be below this episode. But yes, I did a little poll on there. I'm going to start trying to do polls on there to see what everyone wants to watch, wants to listen to.
Insidious was my pick.
Yes, so it was
happy.
between Insidious and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
And I said,
rounding back to the Freddie Prinze Jr.
Right, that one's a summer movie. We need to do that in the summer.
I probably will do it in the summer, but I still love that movie.
Summer movie.
I still love that movie. I don't care. And so Insidious, like I said, is a 2010 horror movie. It was released in 2011 though, and it was was written by Lee Winnell, which we know from the Saw movie, Dead Silence. He directed that, and he also did The Invisible Man as well, which I did not know. Loved that movie. And it was directed by James Wan, who directed Saw, The Conjuring, Furious 7. You know, he's a big name right now. We just talked about him. And so the movie came due to the success of Saw for both Wan and Winnell. However, Wan believed that all of the violence and gore of Saw kind of turned people off, which it totally did. And it made it so people were kind of hesitant to work with him. So he made Insidious in part to prove that he could make a film with less overall violence than Saw. And he did a pretty damn good job in my opinion.
Not a lot of violence, but a lot of scares. I was sitting here. Okay, so I've seen this movie a million times, and it's one of my favorite horror movies. Like, it is my favorite. I would say this is my favorite, other than the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Love it, you know, Freddy's
This is
my
like
man.
your favorite modern horror movie.
Yes, because like I love anything about ghosts. It's intriguing to me, and it's so scary. I was sitting here today, broad daylight. It was maybe like 12 p.m. watching it, and I was sitting here getting jump scared. I would get scared by myself, and I was sitting here looking around over my shoulder like, is that creepy man around over here? Is the lady, the old lady with the umbrella? Doesn't she have an umbrella?
She doesn't got no umbrella. It's just the woman in black.
Yeah, the woman in black. Is she staring at me? I felt like there were eyes on me.
What if I told you I was sitting in my room in the dark watching this movie with headphones on?
No.
Girl. Okay, so usually whenever I watch movies, I always watch them with my headphones on whenever I'm doing podcast stuff. But like normally, every other time I've ever seen this movie, it's just been, you know, normal on the TV, whatever. Listening with headphones on is scarier.
It's the music. And what is the tulips?
Tiptoe through the tulips.
I love it. It's by Tiny Tim, because I remember that.
Don't copyright us, Tiny Tim.
Please don't. But I play that every now and then.
Don't come haunt me.
Because it's scary. It's creepy, but
so
also
creepy.
like it's supposed to be a happy song, you know?
It's
like,
not a happy song.
Yeah, it's scary. I don't know. We'll just keep talking about that.
Keep talking about it. So Insidious stars my motherfucking man, Patrick Wilson, as Josh. I'm just saying,
Ew.
Patrick Wilson, shut the fuck up. Patrick Wilson is so fucking fine.
He got a 6 head.
I don't give a fuck. He is so fine to me, y'all.
He be looking like he gotta take a poop.
Girl, whenever he's up in the Conjuring movies, whew, just be getting sweaty up in here, because, oh my gosh, he's so fine.
Like in a suit.
No, not even in a suit. Just whenever he just be there, you know? He just,
He a dad.
Yeah.
He's just
Dilf.
not.
Dilf energy.
I'd rather get with the scary guy that was on the balcony than him.
Not the scary guy with the long hair.
Yeah, with
He
the
was
long hair, and
creepy.
he tried to
He had
come
a
at
scary
her.
face.
Oh yeah,
His face was fucked up.
I'd rather be. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you have a thing for men with fucked up faces because you know Freddy Krueger.
Oh yes, like fictional men.
You're
yeah.
like,
Now, like if you're real, I don't. But if you a fictional, like if you a ghost, holler.
Holla at your girl.
If you a scary like psycho killer and you got a burn up face and you looking like Freddy, holler. Like,
you know what? I have a thing for men with masks because you know Mikey Myers over there. With them coveralls.
Michael Myers, he never even went to school. Nothing.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
He's stupid.
I don't give a fuck. Pin me up against that wall, daddy. Like,
he probably don't even know how to do it.
Girl, he killed like 3 people up against the wall. What
he
you
had to
mean?
teach himself how to drive.
He figured it out, didn't he? The day that he escaped, he was like, "I'm getting up in this motherfucking car.
He
We
don't know
gonna
how
drive."
to write, right?
I don't know. It's just the idea. Moving along. We're not about to talk about my sexual weirdo-ness, okay?
And he don't even know how to swipe a credit card.
You know what?
You better get that money, girl.
I'm just saying he's probably hung like a horse.
Oh, God.
Moving along. Rose Byrne plays Renee. Lynn Shay, we love Lynn Shay. She plays Elise.
Yes, I love her.
Your best friend, Barbara Hershey, plays Lorraine.
It's not the actress. It's the... It's the
Monica
character.
hates Lorraine. We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that.
Piss me off.
Lee Winnell plays Specs, which I gotta say, I do have a thing for Lee Winnell.
Is that the bigger one or the little one?
The little one from Saw.
Oh, I like the big one.
I only think of him in Saw. That's all I think of, and he was so fine in Saw. Angus Sampson, that's the big guy. He plays Tucker, and then Ty Simpkins plays Dalton.
What about the little boy and then the baby? They weren't credited.
I mean, they were credited, but they just aren't big characters. The baby, Callie.
Man, she
Callie
got on
1
my
and Callie
nerves
2
the whole time.
Y'all, this baby was crying the entire movie, and I'm just like, shut that motherfucking baby up.
I think it was
Give
to
that
make our
baby-
nerves like
Literally.
You know, because, like, that's how I felt whenever I had Maddox. Like, you know, I had a little tiny baby, and he kept crying and stuff. And, of course, I didn't know what to do. And now that I'm seasoned, I know, like, if a baby cries, they either pooped, peed, need their diaper changed, needs to eat, or is tired.
Right.
Like, or they just want their mama. Like, they just want to be held, you
And
know?
I think, honestly, like you said, it's supposed to kind of, like, up your nerves, up your stress level.
Yes.
And I think they want us to kind of feel how Renee feels once, like, everything is going down and stuff.
Now, when she was having her breakdowns and stuff, I felt that. I totally, as a mom, Renee, girl, you could be my friend.
I want to give her a hug.
I would have took that baby from her so that she could have had a break. And with her husband pissed me off.
I don't
All right,
like Josh,
let's
but
go on
anyways, Insidious was released in the United States on April 1st, 2011, on an estimated budget of $1.5 million. Y'all, they made so much money from this movie. It had an opening weekend box office of $13.2 million. And then a gross worldwide of $100.1 million.
Yeah, because it's the shit. It's so scary.
So good.
I remember watching it.
I remember watching it whenever it first came out. Yes, I'm pretty sure we got it from Redbox.
So scary. Like, it's the scariest movie. It really is. The Insidious
like universe franchise.
Scary.
See,
now, I haven't seen the new one. I want to watch Red Door.
In my opinion, I did watch the third one. I didn't like it. And I did not watch the fourth one because I was like, fuck this shit by that point. But then whenever they said they were coming out with Red Door, I was like, I'm watching this shit. And all I got to say about Red Door is I liked the concept of it, but with like the scary parts, it was very short to me. You know what I'm saying? It was like
a lot of jump scares, not
it was,
like
no,
just
it wasn't
being
even
scared
jump
in general.
scares. It was just like, it was less memorable than the first two. You know what I'm saying? The first two, it be getting you. You know what I'm saying? That shit gets you.
The second one's about like his childhood, right?
No, the second one is whenever they move into Lorraine's house and
yeah, his childhood.
Kind of a little bit. It starts out with like the
piano
flashback.
in the room.
Yes, and he like plays the song or whatever, and he's like stuck. Spoiler alert: he's stuck in the further and stuff like that. That's the second one.
And then the third one.
The third one is I'm pretty sure the girl in the wheelchair, and then the fourth.
I never watched that.
It's like it's kind of a prequel to it because I'm pretty sure Elise is still alive.
Yes, the girl in the wheelchair, and it's like an orphanage or something, right?
I don't even think it's an orphanage. I think she just lives in an apartment.
Oh.
See, that just shows you like how forgettable
I don't know about
third
that,
and fourth one
but I
is.
do want to watch the Red Door.
I do recommend watching it, but just remember it's very much it's PG-13. Like this movie's PG-13. Okay. That's why there's not like blood or anything in it. There's literally
PG-13?
Yes, it's PG-13. We get one fuck in the whole movie, and it's Josh saying, "I deal with it in my own fucking way." I remember that because I was like, this is PG-13. I wonder if there's going to get any F-bombs in here. And he'd said that, and that was the only one.
And it's PG-13, and it's one of the scariest movies. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And see, that's why to me, this movie isn't even on my top 10.
Really?
It is not on my top 10.
This is my top 3. Top 2. Top 3. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Now, whenever this did come out, I was 14. I was 14 years old. Like, I had seen so many horror movies that, like, yes, of course it was scary. The jump scares were good. The red-faced demon was scary. You know, the story and stuff was good. Back then, it probably maybe would have been in my top 10, but now this is, like, top 20 maybe, somewhere in there. But anyways, IMDb had it at a score of 6.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 67% on the tomato meter and 62% audience score. And then Letterboxd had it at a 3.2 out of 5, which I agree on all of those. Those are all pretty good scores in my opinion. It just kind of shows that the movie is a little mid, but if you're not into horror movies, if you don't watch them very often, it's still gonna scare you. But for me, I watch a lot of horror movies, so it's not.
I think the IMDb score is a little low, in my opinion.
I mean, that would technically be like a 68%. Tomato Meter had it at 67. Audience was 62.
I feel like it's all a little low. Maybe because this is one of my favorite scary movies. Because it's scary.
You're a little biased.
It's scary. Like, this gives me nightmares. It's the way it's filmed because it's so gray.
It's so dark. And
Yes.
I think I talk about it later on. It's whenever the alarm and stuff goes off and Josh is walking through the house. It is so dark. This man has to turn on 3 lamps in one room to make it light. Do y'all not have any ceiling lights?
Right.
Is this house so damn old y'all ain't got no freaking ceiling lights in there? Like, no. It's giving Sinister, okay? If y'all have ever seen the movie Sinister, that movie is so fucking dark. Every corner that the characters turn is fucking dark, and it drives me nutty. And so we open with a boy sleeping in a very dark room. Like I said, this movie's dark, and the camera pans to the kitchen, and we see this silhouette moving to the right, and the camera follows, and we see this scary ass old woman in black clothing. And we're gonna shelf that whole scene for later, okay? There's gonna be a lot on your shelf, okay? And so we then get the title card and all the opening credits. It's all
the creepy
slow
music,
and creepy.
like it's like really dark and scary.
The score on this, whoever did the score, bravo
Yes.
to you. I did not
Yes.
get a chance to look that up, but bravo. And then we cut to the mom of the story, Renee. She's sleeping and she wakes up. She goes downstairs looking at pictures, and her oldest son, Dalton, comes downstairs too, and they look at the photo albums together.
She is so relatable because the way she woke up, she got up, she sat up, she looked over at her husband, and she gave him the nastiest look.
Because he was snoring.
Bro, you still sleep, and have to get up, and I know these kids are about to get up. But also, how are her kids sleeping until it's like super light outside? Because like my son, he's almost 3, and I know her baby is a baby, but like even when my baby was a baby, like
was getting up
he was
early.
getting up at like 6 a.m.
I don't know. Maybe
They missed that
daylight
mark.
savings. Maybe
No.
it was 6 a.m.
They missed that mark on that.
Maybe it was 6 a.m. But also, I'm pretty sure this was, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure this was all shot on a soundstage, so they really couldn't make it look like early morning, you know?
Oh, okay.
And so,
Really?
yeah,
Shot on a sound stage?
I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of movies do. They'll like use a location for like exterior shots, and then they'll make basically the whole thing on a soundstage because it's probably cheaper than having to like rent out the house than to just make it on a soundstage.
Huh.
But I don't know. I don't know all that. I'm not a filmmaker. I have no idea. And so it's now breakfast time. Dalton and the other son, Foster, they're getting ready for school. And the baby, Callie, she's crying her fucking head off. And Renee tries to help, but she's making breakfast. She's on the phone. And the father, Josh, he's getting ready for work. Renee goes to look for more bowls, and she finds her books on the floor, and she had just put those away. Like in the first scene, she was putting stuff away because they've just moved. And she goes back, she tells Dalton to put things back where they belong, and he says he didn't touch the books. And so Josh, he goes to work, and he says that he can't take the boys to school or go pick them up because he has a PTA meeting because he's a teacher. And poor Renee, she just looked so flustered and tired and just like,
I feel
this
that.
motherfucker, I swear to God, if he doesn't go pick up these damn kids. And so later that day, Renee, she's writing music and playing the piano. She makes music for a living. And Callie, she's crying on the monitor. So Renee goes and checks on her. And this room, I gotta comment, this room was literally the size of a fucking closet. Harry Potter's closet was bigger than that.
I think it's because she put that damn bed, that crib, right in the middle of the room. But it kind of makes it kind of a little scarier.
It does.
You
It
know,
really does.
A little crowded.
And so she puts the baby back down, and then she hears some creaking in the attic. So she goes to investigate. bad move.
Right.
And when she turns on the light in the attic, she
I am not racist, y'all. I'm half white.
she breaks one of the steps off the ladder. Okay. Shelf that too. Okay. 2 things are now on your shelf. Later that night, Josh is finally fucking home. It's dark outside. And he relaxes with the family, except for Dalton. Dalton, he's upstairs. He's playing with his little toys, imagination and shit. And the basement door mysteriously cracks open. It's like, cracks open, right?
Creepy.
And so he goes upstairs because, you know, he's a child. He wants to investigate. And he has this cute little lantern with him. And he tries his best to reach, like, the light string by climbing up the ladder. But, of course, he falls off the ladder because Renee broke the step. And he screams, calls out for his parents. They come running. They check on him. He says his leg hurts a little bit, but he can move it. And he scraped his head. And Renee tells him basically no more exploring. Do not come back up there. And they take him to bed. Renee and Josh, they're getting ready for bed. And Renee explains that she had a really bad day and she fears things won't be different at this new house, which kind of leads me to believe some things.
Right.
I have some questions. I'm like, was you a cheater, Josh?
Because he seems like he was a cheater.
I feel like he was a cheater.
Yeah.
Because later on in the movie, whenever he's staying at work late, she's like, this is the 3rd time in a row that you've had to stay late. Bitch, what you doing?
Right. Is there anything going on with you?
You out there fucking Josh?
Right.
And so the next morning, there's, of course, more chaos. I would literally off myself if I had to deal with that much chaos in the morning. And Josh goes to wake up Dalton, but he won't wake up. He won't wake. Sorry.
Right.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8
right.
foot. And they end up taking him to the hospital, and they explain that there's no brain trauma or infection, but he is technically in a coma, and there's really nothing more that they can do at that moment. And so, fast forward 3 months later, Dalton's at home, but still in a coma, quote. And Renee, she's a fucking mess. Renee looks even more tired. She got
so
the dark
skinny.
circles. She's skinny. It looks like she needs some food in her system. Her hair is all messy.
She needs to like go for
She
a
needs
day
a
at
nap.
the spa. Like she needs those kids to be taken care of for a couple days.
Drop them off at Lorraine's house and just go have some time.
Right,
because
where's Lorraine right now?
Exactly.
Right, where is she right now?
Exactly. Then suddenly she just wants to appear.
This is why I don't like Lorraine. Okay, let's continue.
So she's trying to work on her music, but she can't get her head right. And she hears this weird static coming from the baby monitor. And this part scared the shit out of me whenever I was younger. I ain't even gonna lie.
And this is what I would fear when Maddox was a baby and I had the baby monitor.
Oh my gosh.
I would fear this so much. And even with like the video baby monitors I've seen on like online of like
orbs and ghosts and shit. Yeah.
And I'm always scared, like, because I won't be in there with my baby to protect him.
Right.
You know?
And so she turns up the volume so she can hear, and there's like this talking sort of on there, and she's like moving around to see if she can get a better signal. And the only words that are made out are,
"There's nothing you can do."
And
"I want it. Give it. Give it. I want it. I want it now."
Literally, that's how it is.
Give it. I want it
now. And then Callie starts crying, but she goes up there. There's no one in the room. Okay, it's like, I want it now.
Yeah, it's scary.
Literally,
like,
that's so scary. And so we jump cut.
What do they want? Like the baby?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. They was talking about they want it now.
Right.
They want Dalton's vessel. That's what they want.
Oh.
There's nothing you can do. Because there isn't anything Renee could do.
Right.
I don't know.
That's scary.
I don't know. And so
that gives me chills right now. Like, ugh.
We jump cut to Renee putting Foster to bed, and he tells her that he is scared of Dalton, and he asks to change rooms because he doesn't like it when he walks around at night. Excuse me?
Right.
Excuse me?
I would have been like, all right, let's leave this house right now.
Literally.
Like, at that point. And why didn't she, like, tell Josh, like, immediately?
Exactly. I would have been like, hey, Josh.
But
so
Josh
our kid said... Right, Josh is an asshole. I do not like Josh that much. But I do like me some Patrick Wilson, so we'll move on. Renee and Josh, they're in bed, and she tells him about the experience that she had earlier today with the baby monitor. And of course, he just shrugs it off. But then someone starts banging on the door like the damn police, y'all.
Boom, boom, boom.
Literally, they're like, doom, 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 doom. Like, come to the motherfucking door.
Right.
And so Josh goes to check. He doesn't see anyone outside, so he makes sure that the door is locked, which it literally was not locked before. What is it with these people in these fucking movies that don't lock their front door?
Right. It's not like they live out in the country or something. Like, they live in a neighborhood.
Literally, y'all are in the suburbs.
You have a neighbor right next door.
Literally, probably 10 feet away. Not even. And so he also sets the alarm, which that also was not set. What the fuck? And Callie starts crying, so Renee goes and checks on her. And this is when she sees a man standing in the corner over her baby.
That's a
so
scary
she
man.
freaks the hell out, and Josh comes up to check on her and checks the room out. There's no one there. Then suddenly the alarm starts going off. So Josh goes back downstairs. Renee takes the baby and Foster into Dalton's room, and the front door is wide the hell open.
At this point, my blood pressure was high as hell.
Whenever this door was wide open, and also that's a big ass door.
Yeah.
That door was huge.
Big ol' wooden
And
door.
the chain, he even put the chain on the door. It was just swinging, just hanging and swinging. And so Josh turns off the alarm. He grabs a fire poker and turns on the fucking 3 lamps in one room, and he scopes out the downstairs. But then the alarm goes off again, and the door is still wide the fuck open. So how could that have even happened? And he shuts it, sets the alarm, and forgets to lock the door again. And so we jump cut to a couple days later.
He's dumb.
He is. Renee is talking to a nurse's aide, and as the aide is about to change the sheets, Renee says that she'll do them. The nurse leaves, and Renee starts to change the sheets, but she sees a bloody fucking handprint. And this ain't no normal handprint. This is a handprint with like long ass claws on
like
it.
nails.
It's scary. On the sheets.
That's that woman's.
No, that's the red-faced demon.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Because remember, he got the claws. He was
Oh,
up there
yeah,
sharpening
yeah,
them.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
gonna scratch the fuck out of you.
I forget. There's
So that-
so many demons.
Yes.
And, like, scary people.
So that causes her to freak out, of course. And so now it's late as hell at work. Josh Dunn fell asleep, and he sees that he has many, many, many voicemails from Renee. So he rushes home real quick, and she's sitting outside, and they start to argue a little bit. And then Renee says that she's scared for Dalton. She's scared of the house. Ever since they moved in, things have been going wrong. She says that she needs him, but he is never here, as in like mentally here.
Right, like present.
Yes, and she says that he avoids stressful situation, and she says that he avoids stressful situations, and he says he deals with them in his own fucking way.
Right, the only F-bomb.
The only
of the
F-bomb.
movie.
And so she hands him the sheet and says, "Deal with this then." Mic drop.
Right. And he don't do nothing. He lazy.
He just stands there.
He lazy.
And so later that night, Josh, he is sleeping on the couch. He is in the doghouse. And Renee,
Good.
she wakes up screaming from a nightmare upstairs. And we, the viewer, we see someone walking back and forth outside of her window. Keep in mind,
Yeah.
she's on the 2nd floor, okay? And she tries yelling for Josh, like a little bit. You know, whenever you're just kind of scared and you can't really scream. So
Yes.
she's kind of like, "Josh, bitch, you better get louder." And the thing appears in her room and tries to attack her.
Yep.
That is terrifying. And
I
so,
would have screamed so loud
girl,
if
me
I saw
too.
somebody
I
outside
would
my
have been
balcony.
screaming,
Yeah.
bro. And so Josh comes in, wakes up, comes to her aid, and of course there's no one there. And she says she wants to leave this house. So they do the smart thing finally, and they pack the hell up and they move.
Right.
Good
halfway
for them.
through the fucking film.
Good for them. Movie's over. Not really.
Right, because I thought it was over. Like
The first time I saw it, I was like, damn, the movie's over that quick? What?
It's a short movie.
And so now Lorraine, Monica's favorite character, if you don't know, that's Josh's mom. She's there helping to unpack things, and as she's putting up the family photo, she makes the comment, "I'm surprised that you got Josh to hold still for a picture." Shelf that too, okay? I think we have like 3 things on our shelf. And so Lorraine leaves, and Renee is straightening up, cleaning it up. She puts a little record on.
Yes.
And when she goes to take out the trash, the record suddenly switches over to Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Tiptoe through the tulips. And so Renee, as she's walking back, she sees this creepy ass ghostly boy dancing through the window.
Which I wouldn't be as scared if it's a ghostly boy.
I'm fucking
but
scared.
I'm scared.
I have seen way too much ghost stuff. Whenever they're like, oh yeah, it's like demons, they'll try to present themselves as children. Okay, any ghost child that I see, fuck you. What is that they say in The Exorcist? What is it? Christ compels you or whatever.
Mal is not religious.
The power of Christ compels you. That's what they say.
She does not.
I'm not religious. The only shit that I've ever seen was like, on like The Exorcist or like, I think it's like Exorcism at Emily Rose or something. They're like, the power of Christ compels you.
I would just start praying like, please God, watch over me. I love you, Jesus.
If y'all have ever seen The Mummy, it's that part whenever the fucking mummy comes up to the dude and he starts pulling out all the different necklaces. And he has the little cross. He has the little Star of David. Yeah. He has the little thing for Buddha.
Hey, he was praying though, and he didn't get killed.
He
didn't get killed though. The power of prayer for all my religious mamas out there. Y'all know.
Ooh. And so she hurries inside trying to find the boy. Things are moving around and the little boy is running around her house and she follows him into Foster's room and the kid literally jump scares her and runs out the room. What the fuck? I literally would have been like, where's my sage at? Where's my sage? Which you should have reminded me I was going to bring my sage.
Oops. Yeah, I felt like there was a little, just side note, I felt like there was a little negative energy in my house,
girl.
And I like to cleanse my house every New Year.
Little side note. I had a really, really bad. I don't know if it was a dream. I don't know if it was sleep paralysis or what.
I have sleep paralysis every now and then. It's scary.
I have this reoccurring like dream place. The dreams are never the same, but it's just this place, and it's like a mall. Okay, this sounds really, really weird, but it's like this mall, right? And everything seems normal, but like the deeper you go into it, it's like places are closed, it's really creepy, right? And like the first and second floor are like pretty normal, it looks like a mall, whatever, like a closed mall. But then there's like a way to get to like the basement, right? Mm-hmm. And the basement is like all modern and stuff. It looks very fancy, but like that's like the scariest place, right? Right. And so in my dream, I'm walking around this mall. I remember there was like a banquet going on or something. I don't fucking know. My dreams are weird, y'all. And so I'm walking around. I was working at a store there and they were like, you have to come close. So I was trying to close and they were like, actually, just help clean up and then you can leave. And I was like, all right, bet. So I'm walking around. There's a banquet going on. Then I go down to the basement. It's that creepy modern part. And then somehow I make it into like the like boiler room area, and then this is where it changed for me. Suddenly I'm back at home. I'm in bed. I'm asleep, okay? And y'all don't know this, but I sleep in complete darkness. Like I have to. If there's any type of light, I will not sleep. And so I have to sleep with the sleep mask on and everything. Like it got to be dark. Yeah. And so I'm laying there and I never ever fall asleep on my back. Okay, so like this is where I knew that this was like a dream or something, because I always sleep on my stomach. I was laying down on my back and I felt like I couldn't move. It was like I was literally stuck.
That has to be sleep paralysis, because that happens to me too.
Listen to this shit. So literally I'm laying there, right? And I look up and there's someone standing at the end of my bed and the outline kind of looked like Daddy. So I was like, Daddy, like what are you doing here? And it sounded like his voice, but then it switched and it was like, I'm here to take that demon out of you. And it was holding this book. Listen. It was holding this book, right? And it was at that point to where like I could see in the dark because my eyes had adjusted, and like it raises its hand and all of a sudden all this shit starts like going around in my room and stuff. And I remember like trying to like reach over to my light, because I have a side table light, and I remember accidentally, because I always keep a cup on my side table with a straw in it, I remember accidentally thinking the straw was like the switch, and I was like, oh shit, that's my straw. So like I reach over even further, turn on the light, it's gone, and I fucking wake up. light was not on. It wasn't on, and I was like asleep on my back, or on my stomach. But like, it was the creepiest, scariest thing ever. I told Mama about it, and I was like, I am saging the fuck out of this house, and I have not had an experience since then.
That is scary. That is so scary.
Shit, it's like whenever I was walking around in my house one time, and I walk by the kitchen, and I swear on everything, I saw a straight up black figure. A dark figure standing, you know, where like the counters go like this?
Yeah.
Literally just standing there. And I remember I walked by and I was like, wait a minute. And I backed up. There was no one there.
Oh, God.
One time Xander came over and Xander thought that I was in my room. No, maybe they thought someone was in their room. No, they thought Alex was in the room. And I was like in the bathroom or something, or maybe I was in like the back room, like playing a game with Daddy or something. And they like walked by and they're like, oh, hey, Alex, comes to the back. And then they're like talking to me and we go to my room. Of course, Alex was at work and they were like, I thought Alex was here. I literally saw someone sitting on your bed. And I'm like,
that's weird.
It's creepy.
Your house is haunted.
That's why I keep it staged. Anyways.
That's scary.
Back
That's
to the movie.
Scary. Yeah, that was a little side note.
And so when Josh returns home, Renee is talking to a priest and Lorraine is there as well.
This part is where it pisses me off.
And so they sit down to have a conversation, and Renee explains what happened and how she believes whatever was at the last house followed them. Josh brushes it off, of course, but Lorraine, she decides to chime in this time, and she says that Renee's telling the truth. She has seen something like this before. She says that last night she had a dream, but she was walking around their house, and she said that she goes into Dalton's room and she sees someone standing in the corner, and when she asked what it wanted, it pointed to Dalton. And she says that she can still see that face, and when she looks over at Josh, jump scare, motherfucker, the red-faced demon is literally standing behind him, and it's like one of those really, really quick shots. That shit, that was like the selling point for this
unbothered.
movie. Completely unbothered. Completely unbothered. And of course that freaks Lorraine out. And then suddenly Dalton's door slams and the door is like banging around on the other side. There's all this shit flying around in there. And they try to open it. It won't budge. And then after this like loud ass boom, the door opens, shit is everywhere, Dalton's on the floor, and there's another handprint on the sheets. The sheets are ripped up, and Lorraine is like, I know who can help.
Side note, I fucking hate Lorraine. You know why?
Tell me.
Because she waits until he's like in his 40s, 30s, late 30s, early 40s, to tell him, not even tell him, I know somebody who can help. Why didn't you just fucking tell him then?
Exactly.
Why didn't you tell him when you started hearing about all the crazy shit that's been going on to Renee? Why didn't you jump in and say, hey, this shit is real and y'all need some fucking help?
But also, you have to remember, so
I guess she had to see it for herself.
Jumping forward a little bit, you do have to realize that, number one, there really weren't any signs. Like, you know, whenever they were taking pictures of Dalton, they weren't seeing anything. There wasn't anything weird going on. It was very sudden. You know, it's kind of like, could it be this? But I don't really think so. This seems like something medical sort of thing. But then once the things start manifesting and everything, and she has the dream and stuff, that's whenever she's like, maybe it's this. You know, maybe we should try this, which I understand. And we'll talk about this in a minute.
Yeah.
My point as to why she didn't say anything sooner again. So
I just don't like her.
So jump cut to Tucker and Specs arriving. They're ghost hunters of some sort, and they walk around the house to do some tests. Tucker picks up something on a piece of equipment in the hallway. So he pulls out this little like camera thingy, and he catches a glimpse at these like two women who are standing and smiling at him outside of Dalton's room. That shit is scary.
Yes. That
shit was so scary. Them women, no. Tucker's freaked out, and he tells Specs to call Elise. So
I would have done the same thing. I would have been like, let me get up out of here for a minute.
Right. Elise, we like Elise. She is a psychic medium, and she says that she's known Josh a long time, And Lorraine and her have been best friends for a long time as well. Shelf that. No, 4 things.
Right.
Yeah, 4
right.
things on the shelf now. She looks
Little
around
Easter eggs.
and she says that she doesn't think this is bad wiring here. And so she continues to walk around the house and she tells Specs to grab his sketchbook, that he is going to need it. Okay. They go into Dalton's room and she talks to him for a moment and then she looks up and there's something above her. So she starts to describe it to Specs so he can draw it. And it gets like more and more intense, like it's zooming in on her face, like the music is rising and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She's up there whispering to him. I remember her saying, it has a red face. It has a super duper red face. Its eyes are black like pinholes. Like,
Oh, God.
terrifying.
Like, you just say
Terrifying.
that, just scary.
And it gets more and more intense until Renee, she gets antsy and she grabs the book and turns on the light. And what he drew was just this black figure, this scary ass black figure with a red face and pinholes for eyes. And of course, once she turns on the light, there's nothing there that she can see. And so Elise tells them that she believes Dalton is not in a coma, that his spiritual body is not with him due to astral projection, which I have tried astral projection before, and that shit is so hard. I've never done it. And
What is, like...
so basically, it's kind of like lucid dreaming a little bit.
Oh, God.
Okay? Lucid dreaming is whenever you know that you're dreaming. And the way to practice it is, or at least what I read whenever I was trying to do it. It was after this movie came out. I'm like, I want to lucid dream. Hell yeah.
Right.
So what you do is you set a timer for like right whenever you're hitting your REM cycle, and that's after 2 hours of being asleep typically. So you set an alarm, but after that alarm goes off, you try not to go to sleep, but your body is still really, really, really tired. So you lay there. Typically it works better whenever you're on your back. This is also apparently what causes sleep paralysis too. So you lay on your back. You don't focus on anything, okay? Completely clear your mind. Do not even focus on your breathing, okay? You just lay there and then your body will think that you're going to sleep, but your brain is still awake. You get what I'm saying?
Oh.
And so it's like once you start going into your REM cycle again, because it had been disturbed, usually whenever it's a short amount of time, like, you know, whenever you set 2 alarms in the morning and you turn off your first one and then you can immediately go back into your dream.
Yes.
Sometimes that's lucid dreaming because you're
Really?
still stuck in your brain. You're still stuck in your REM cycle
that
a little
happens
bit.
to me almost every single day. I'll wake up and then I'll be like, I want to go back to that dream, and I'll close my eyes and I'll just put myself back in the dream.
Exactly. And that's because your REM cycle was disturbed, which is also a reason why you can remember your dreams, is whenever your sleep cycle or your REM cycle is disturbed.
Really?
Your brain is more likely to remember it. But if you go through a full 8-hour cycle, you're less likely to remember it because you've already been through your REM cycle.
Oh,
It's crazy.
I didn't even know anything about this.
Dude,
is
it's
so
crazy.
cool.
It's a whole rabbit
Because
hole.
I remember almost every single dream.
It's a rabbit hole.
Like every day, I'll wake up and I'll just be like, "Oh, I remember that."
And see, most of the time I don't, unless I just haven't gotten a good night's sleep. If I go to sleep too late,
Girl, I wake up like 3 or 4 times a night.
I maybe wake up one time, maybe, and that's usually Cece waking me up. But anyways, back to the movie, back to Insidious.
Right. Sorry,
So-
y'all.
She says it's astral projection, and that the thing that followed them there is attached to Dalton, and it's a very dark thing with an insidious agenda. Roll credits. And she says that Dalton's spiritual body is stuck in the further, which is a place for the dead, not meant for the living. She says that there are entities that can smell his empty vessel and they want to take it over. But there is one thing they can do. They just have to trust her. Renee believes her, but Josh, again, brushes it the fuck off and kicks them out of the house. And so Josh goes to talk to Dalton, and he begins to look at the drawings that are hanging up on his wall because this kid loves to draw, and they literally illustrate him astral projecting. And it literally, there's one, it's like, I fell asleep and I watched myself sleep, then I flew away.
Yeah.
Like, that just shows that he's astral projecting.
Right.
And then there's also one that shows the red-faced demon that's been following him, as well as a door, and then there's a horse and all this stuff, right? So Renee walks in on him crying over the drawings. Now you want to have some feelings, motherfucker. And he says, okay, they're going to bring Elise back. So later that night,
Finally.
right, Elise explains what's going on, that they will experience weird things, but don't question it. They've set up a little table and chairs in Dalton's room, and Tucker brings Elise literally a gas mask that has the sound traveling directly to Specs. He's wearing some headphones, so he can write down what she says and repeat it to Josh and Renee. So Elise calls out to Dalton and asks where he is. Dalton answers, and Elise tells him that his mom and dad are there, that they've been trying to find him, and he answers back that he can't see in there. And Elise tells him to follow her voice, then asks why he isn't talking anymore, because suddenly he just stopped talking. And Dalton says that they'll hear him. If they hear him, they'll hurt him. And Elise asks who, and Dalton says, the man with fire on his face.
Oh, God.
And
the
so
demon.
Elise asks if he can find his way out, and Dalton says there is no way out and to be quiet because they'll hear her. Like, bitch, shut up. He begs for the help of his parents over and over and over until there's nothing. And then something else comes up and calls Elise a bitch, a whore, threatens her. Like, it's fucked up. And this whole time in the background, Dalton's heart monitor has been getting like more and more rapid, right? And then Elise, she yells, she keels over for a moment. We think she dead. Then the monitor just flatlines, right? The camera like turns towards the bed, and then it turns back to Josh, and lo and fucking behold, there's Dalton just standing there. Hello, motherfucker. And he literally slaps the table, makes everyone fly back from the table. He throws the bitch. He got that crackhead energy. He throws it.
That was that demon.
Right. And all these ghosts emerge from the fucking closet. That shit is scary.
Yes.
Whenever literally the closet door opens and it's just like 5 demons just coming out, that is the scariest shit ever. I don't like it. And Specs, poor Specs, he gets thrown across the room. Elise yells at Dalton, "Leave this vessel!" over and over, and demands Tucker to turn on the light. He does, and then Dalton collapses on the floor. Okay? He's still alive. He's still in a coma. He's just, okay?
Man, Zach Bagans would have had a ball with this.
Zach Bagans probably would have cried in the fucking corner. What are you talking about?
With his glasses.
I'm sorry. Side note. This is another little tangent. Zach Bagans is the biggest bitch I have ever heard in my life.
He's like, attack me.
I watched an episode last night. It was a really good episode. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm like, boy, if you don't stop with all that the dramatics,
Right?
you're being dramatic. Sam and Colby do it better. Okay.
Right.
Shout out to Sam and Colby. So, let's see. Where was we at?
Oh.
So,
Getting off topic.
Lorraine, she makes her way over. Elise called her over, and she says that there's something that Lorraine needs to tell Josh. Lorraine says that the reason why she knew to call Elise was because the same thing was happening to Josh when he was little. And he had night terrors, and then she noticed something in the photos of him when he was younger. There was a woman in black that was slowly approaching him, closer and closer each time. And it was closer and closer each time a picture was taken of him. And so Elise, she said that she suppressed his memory, made him forget the astral projection, and advised Lorraine to stop taking his picture and let him forget everything. Which, this right here is the reason why I feel like she didn't say anything, was because
In the other
Elise
picture.
literally told her, do not tell him anything. Let him forget. And she was probably scared for her son. Because put yourself in her position,
and
okay?
so the
Your
demons don't come back to him.
Exactly. Your child has been fighting these demons, whatever, he was 8 years old. You know, a woman comes and helps. Literally, a woman comes and helps and says, do not mention anything to him. He will eventually forget it. Just don't mention it. Because if you do, that's whenever you need to be scared.
Right.
And so I think that's why she waited so long to say something. And so I'm kind of on her side a little bit, but at the same time I'm like, bitch, come on now. And so Elise tells him that Dalton is still out there and that he is the only way that he can bring him back. Basically telling him that he needs to go to the further and get his son.
Right.
Big yikes. And so Elise gives him...
Because she ain't gonna go back.
Fuck
She's
no.
scared.
Elise gives him the breakdown. He needs to remember why he's doing this and don't draw attention to himself. She basically hypnotizes him, puts him into the further, and Josh sees himself sitting there and he gets a little freaked out. He's like, that's creepy. And Elise tells him, keep a steady stride. So Josh wanders into the further. It's dark and foggy, so he grabs the little lantern and walks around in this pitch black void of nothingness.
Oh, God.
He sees a kid running in the distance. He thinks it's Dalton, so he follows him. But it turns out it's his child self. And his child self is pointing to the previous house that him and Renee lived in, right? So he goes inside. This part, there's these creepy ass ghostly people in there, okay? And he wanders around the upstairs, but then hears this whistling from downstairs. So he goes down there, and these creepy ass mannequin ghost people, but they can blink and breathe. They literally look like mannequins, but they can blink and breathe. Like, what else was I supposed to say? And it's scurry. They're literally just sitting in the living room. Josh yells for Dalton. He goes into the dining room where one of the mannequin people has just cocked a shotgun. Excuse me?
Right.
He hears 3 shots ringing off, and the mannequin woman, she done killed her family and is standing over them, smiling. Just cheesing. Straight up just cheesing over them.
Scary.
And it's creepy. It's unsettling. So Josh, he makes his way back upstairs to the attic. There's the red door from the picture, and he approaches it, but then a ghost man pops up. It's the ghost man that tried to attack Renee. He pops up, and he starts whooping Josh's ass.
That's my boo.
But then Josh, you know, he remembers that he's human. He's more stronger than this demon, and he beats the fuck out of the ghost man until he disappears. And so Josh is now able to go inside the red door, and it's this long red hallway. It's super creepy, and it leads into this big ass room where Dalton is being held captive. There's this room overlooking that room, and there's this red-faced demon in there. He's sharpening his claws. The first time I saw this movie, I thought he was sewing. I'm like, what the fuck is he sewing?
Right.
Like, what?
Why is he sewing?
I literally typed it down. I was like, he's sewing? And then it goes back, and I'm like, oh, he was sharpening his claws. Let me fix that real quick. He's nasty looking. He's like covered in black paint. It's gross. And
I want to go as him for Halloween.
Right? Josh is able to get Dalton out of his shackles, but unlucky for them, the red-faced demon is looking at them. And it appears right next to Josh. It's fucking creepy, but honestly, like, once they actually put it on screen, it's not as creepy in my opinion.
Right.
The hooves are creepy and the tail is creepy.
Yeah.
That's about it. And so
It's like a full-on, like, devil.
it's like a person, but like not a person. I don't know.
It's a devil.
For me, I don't know. Sometimes whenever it comes to like this ghostly shit, I'm like, once you start adding stuff to it, it's just a little bit less scary to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm more scared of a normal person than I am of ghosts. But anyways, they're up there fighting, and Dalton distracts the demon long enough for Josh to get away and grab Dalton, and they run the fuck out of there, and they make their way through the further, and at one point some ghost mannequin people come up and they try to grab them, but then Renee calls out to them and tells them to follow her voice. Follow my voice, Josh, follow my voice, I love you. And in the real world, all of the lights have gone out, and they hear some scraping noises. So Specs grabs a flashlight as well as Tucker, and they walk around the house checking everything out. This fucking part. So Specs goes into the kitchen, and there's a drawer open. And he literally, like, barely touches this drawer and, like, slowly tries to push it in. And a fucking hand comes out of the drawer and tries to grab him. I am literally getting goosebumps. That part is so scary to me. And so he goes back to the living room. He says that something was there. He's freaking out. Elise sends Tucker and Lorraine to go check on Dalton. He's fine. But then Specs, he starts screaming, okay? The baby monitor starts making noise. Weird shit's happening. And Elise says that they're crossing over into our world. Then suddenly, all these ghost mannequin people, they start showing up and approaching them from all corners. Renee is begging for Josh to come back to them. Come back to me. I love you. Come back to me. And Josh, he's lagging behind and sends Dalton on his way. They've made their way back to their house. He sends Dalton on his way, and he's like standing in the kitchen, and he looks over and says, "You? Dun dun dun. Who is you?" We'll get to that. So Dalton tries to make his way to his room, but is jump scared by the red-faced demon. So he's trying to hide, and that doesn't work. So he just kind of runs around for a minute. And back with Josh, he's confronting the fucking woman in black that has been following him since he was 8 years old and demands to stay away from him and go away. He's like, "Stay away from me, go away," like a little bitch. And as Renee yells, "Come back to me," Josh awakens and all of the ghost mannequin people are gone. Lorraine inspects, sees that Dalton is finally awake. Yay. And Lorraine takes Dalton to his parents, and it's a very wholesome moment. It's like, "Oh, he's awake." And so Dalton is chowing down on some food. He's starving.
I bet he is.
Right. And Renee and Lorraine are sitting with him. And Josh looks at the pictures of himself as a child, and he tells Elise, "Here you go. I don't need these anymore," and gives them to her. But when he passes them to her, she senses something is off. So she pulls out her camera and takes a quick little picture of him, which absolutely pisses him off. He literally starts yelling at her. He throws down the camera, then chokes Elise to death. What the fuck? Why would you do that? Why did he do that, you ask? Well, Renee comes up. She sees dead Elise, and she's like, "Oh my God, Josh, where are you?" And then she sees the camera, picks it up, and lo and fucking behold, the woman in black has taken over Josh's body. Damn. And the movie ends. The end.
Goddamn. That's all I can say.
And then there's a whole ass second movie and a whole ass third movie.
It's crazy.
Y'all, this movie.
That ending. Because I thought it would end in like wholesome.
I
like
remember watching that and being like, "Oh my God, like that's the end. What happens?"
Right.
You know? And I was, at the time, I wasn't like as versed as I am with like looking stuff up to see if there's going to be another movie or not.
Right.
So I was like, are they literally just going to leave us on a cliffhanger? Like, what?
Right.
What? And then there's the second one, and that was just like,
Yeah.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. It goes into the backstory of the woman in black. And, Josh is up in the further and stuff. His human body, he starts like losing teeth and shit. His hair is turning gray. He's getting wrinkles. He nasty looking. But that will be maybe for another episode.
Yes,
Maybe.
we should do it.
We're gonna do the second
We should
one.
go into
I'm
it.
not gonna do. I'm gonna say this. Don't y'all even ask. I'm not doing the third and fourth one. But
We
I
don't
will
have to. We can
definitely
do number 2.
I will definitely do the rest of the Lambert
We could do
trilogy.
the number 2, and we can do
Red Door.
Red Door, because
I'm
that
down.
gives us the full story.
I'm
of
down.
them.
I'm down.
know.
I'm ready. So yeah, that was our episode. That was Insidious from 2010.
I enjoyed this movie.
Yes, this one was a fun one. Next week, I don't know what we're going to be covering next week. If you want to go over to my Twitter, I'm going to have a poll over there. Like I said, that link is going to be in the description or in the show notes.
If y'all want number 2, let us know.
Yes, let me know. Tweet me.
'Cause we
send
can
me
do
an
it
email.
again.
Every single episode on Spotify has a Q&A if you want to just put in there like, "Hey, please cover this." Like I said, you can email us. If you're on YouTube, you can always comment and say what movie you want us to cover. Yeah, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. That will be in our link tree in the
Yes.
description. If you're on Spotify, all you have to do is click on the episode, like the actual like title of the episode, and boom, you're at the page. That'll have all of our links on there. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, night, evening, whatever the hell.
Yes.
And I will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.